Hey everybody, got another review for you. This quadcopter is the M61, well, I want to say it's the R. There's a few different models of the N61. This quad it has a special place in my collection. The M61X, which was the camera version, was the quad that I learned how to fly really aggressively with. It's fast, it's nimble, it's fun to fly. I have a couple of these. I just got this one. This one has the protective roll cage, and I wanted to try it out because, like I said, I have a soft spot in my heart for the M61 models. It's by SkyTech. This actually has a bunch of, ooh, getting away from me. This has a bunch of different attachments that you can get for it. It has the Gatling gun and suspended, it's like a grappling hook, I guess. And then it's got a bubble blower, and it's also got the M61R has the camera. Okay, so this is the M61S that I'm reviewing. I really kind of wanted to get the Gatling gun. It looks really cool. And all the M61s, they all have the input plugs in the back for any of these attachments. So no matter which one you get, you can get the other attachments and put them in. The bubble blower looks really cool. My daughter thought it was funny. But you can get a few different attachments for it, which I think is awesome. This one has this roll cage, and it actually has a button here for ground. Press this and it'll be just for ground. It doesn't give it enough throttle to get it off the ground, but it does roll very nice. It does have a Cyma style controller, and actually it's the same one, just has SkyTech on it. Little lightning bolts are a little bit different. The buttons up here are changed. The rates are on this side, whereas the Cyma ones there, this is the flip one, and the flip is over here, and the rates are over here on the Cyma controller. Otherwise, it's pretty much the same. I don't hate these. I know a lot of people do. I don't. I grew up playing video games. I'm a thumb flyer, so they feel pretty natural in my hand. I do like the hobby style controllers better. I've said that before, but I don't hate these. So, I know a lot of you do, but I don't. So, it's the cage is a little bouncy. I feel like, it's probably not going to last long, but it is kind of fun. The quad itself has two rates, a high and low. The yaw doesn't change. It has one yaw, but it's pretty decent. It's fairly quick. It does pretty good funnel turns, pretty good turns. Without the cage on it, the M61 flies awesome. I still love it. I have a bunch of quads. There are some that I like better now, but I still love this quad. I still think it's still really fun. It's got the triple blades, and it's gear driven, and it moves. It's pretty quick. It comes, one of the bad things, like I start off with some of the bad things, it only comes with two spare props, and I'm not real sure why. If you break, if the red one breaks on this side, you're pretty much assed out. I mean, you can put the black, and then you'll have, if you break them, I don't know why the SkyTech did that. They only include two. All the M61s I've got have only included two. Comes with a 350 milliamp hour battery. It does the blue 500 milliamp hour batteries that are for the Hubsan, that you can also use in the X11 Hornet, does fit in this. So and it doesn't really affect the flight performance. They're not much heavier than this. With the cage, you only get about 6 minutes of flight with the 350. You get about 7 or 8 with about 7 with the 500 milliamp hour battery. Without the cage, if you just are going to fly it as the regular quad, the 350 milliamp gives you about 8 minutes, and the 500 gives you about 11 or 12. I've gotten about 12 off of it before, even flying aggressively. So if you do have one of those 500 milliamp hour batteries are awesome. Has the USB charging cable and a screwdriver, and it has a clip here too that is for the camera. So if you get the camera, I'm not real sure why they included that, but maybe it's just standard. You do have to assemble the cage. It's not very hard. There's only one screw that you have to put in, which is over here on this connector, and it pops off pretty easy. It only comes with one spare of these ones. It does come with one spare. It does come with a couple extra screws and another attachment for the rod in case you break it, which I almost did putting it together. I don't know what else to say about this. There's a few reviews of this out. Frequent Flyer has a great review of it. I know that he likes it. I know that it's one of his older models, but he still flies it, I'm pretty sure. It's a very fun flying quad. And I know that you can get the camera version of it right now for only about 24 bucks. So for a camera version, and it's a VGA camera, it's not great, but you know, if you want to take some footage and stuff, it's not bad. And I didn't get a lot of jello effect with it. They're pretty durable. I did get some jello after I flew my first one really fast into a fence, and I broke this arm completely off right here. And the testament to the electronics in here, I literally just wrapped thin strips of duct tape around it and put it back together, and it held, and I flew it for another couple of months. It still flies. I still fly it. It's all duct taped up, and it still hovers real good. It doesn't affect the flight. So another reason why I really like it. This isn't a night flyer. It only has these 2 LEDs in the front here, and they're pretty bright, but you know, for orientation at night, it's not super great unless it's coming right at you. It's kind of hard to see, but you know, I have so many other ones to fly at night that it's not that big a deal to me, but definitely not the best night flyer. See how it looks at the side. The triple props here, sometimes they don't work real good with other quads. This one is made for it, and they work great. This is a really fun quad to fly. I really like it. And if you can see that, I've already messed up the props pretty good when I was testing out this roll cage when I first got it, and the roll cage does not really protect. Like you can see that the cage will go down. It doesn't really protect the props, and the cage is kind of squirrely. On the ground mode, it moves pretty good. Turning, not so good because it's so light, and when you give it yaw to turn, which is how you have to turn it, it tends to flip over. And it does right itself, and even if it's like that, if you give it some throttle, it'll right itself. Flying this, though, with the cage on looks really cool. The cage just spins like really fast, and it looks really cool. Not so good with flipping. The front and back to flips, it does pretty good. It looks really cool. The side to side flips, it just wants to, it just loses control a little bit, and I've slammed it into the ground several times. And that's actually where where I messed up the props there, was I was doing side flips and it just went straight down, and the cage just didn't protect it. The props just hit the ground. But I was testing this out in my room and on ground mode, and there was a bunch of dirty laundry, and it was rolling over it like a four-wheel drive. It was pretty awesome. I mean, it went up and over like small little mountains of clothes, and I was laughing my ass off because it was just so funny looking. This is a fun quad. I recommend the M61 in any version that it has, for anyone. Beginners, the lift is pretty fast, so I was teaching my dad how to fly quads. He's super into them now, and he was trying to fly this, and it shot up so quickly. He lost control of it almost instantly. And it's not, the M61 by itself is not a good indoor flyer. It's just a little too quick on the throttle. It's real stable, but for indoors, I don't really fly this ever inside. It's just not as good as, like the X13. This flies really good, and you can see there, the M61 is just a little bit bigger, so it's not really the size that makes me not like it flying it inside. It's just how quick the lift is. But I guess there's not a lot more to say about this. I'm gonna do a little indoor rolling demo of it, and then I'll do some outdoor flying with the cage. And because it's the cage one, I'll just limit the video to the cage, but I'll have other videos of just flying the M61 by itself, because it's a very fun quad to fly. And so let's check out some rolling footage and some outdoor footage and call it a review. All right, let's check that out. All right, here we go. We're gonna do a little rolling test here in the house, and then I'll take it outside and show you how it flies with the cage on it. This is the M61R. I keep forgetting which one it is. M61R, I'm pretty sure. So this is with the stock controller, and by pressing this button you can go from ground, and you can see the light there, and you turn it off, and then it's for flight mode. So we're going to use it on the ground mode here and show you how it does. Oh, feel like wait. Oh, I didn't have it on ground mode. Okay, so on ground mode, you actually use the left and right to turn. I thought it was the yaw, but apparently it's the left and right. I guess I was doing it wrong outside. But you can see that it rolls pretty good. And it actually turns pretty good inside. I was playing with it outside, and I guess it was the wind and stuff that was making it go crazy. Every time I turned, it just would like crash and just tumble and stuff. And see how this is, so I guess it keeps it on a real low rate when it's on ground, because it won't lift up. It doesn't go extremely fast, but you can see that it's pretty cool. Let's give it a Whoop, just ran over my foot. Give it full throttle here and we'll see how fast it goes. Well, there we go. It's moving pretty quick. Slides around the corner. Pretty fun actually in this mode. You know, not quite as fun as flying it, but it's, you know, it's pretty interesting to have a different option. So you get it right about here. We'll switch it off the ground mode and lift it up. I'm going to try to do some of that ceiling flying. Kind of bounces. There we go. A little bouncy. Trying to give it a little less throttle. That's one of the reasons why I don't fly this inside is without this cage, you hit the ceiling a lot. Let me try an indoor flip. Kind of hesitant to try it, but let's give it a shot here. Get it over here a little bit. Oops. Press the rate buttons. I always do that with this. So you can see the flip forward and backward isn't too bad. It doesn't really mess it up, but let's try a side flip and it crashes. Seemed to do that every time I did it outside. But you can see the yaw rate is pretty decent. It's not bad. You can do real nice tight turns with it. And it doesn't change. The first one was on low, that's high. Doesn't change. But all right, let's take it outside and I'll show you guys how cool it is outside. I'm gonna do a little outside flying. Got it on high rates and we'll just keep the cage on it and I'll just fly it around normal quad style and just show you how it flies with the cage. It was spinning the cage a lot when I was out here before. Maybe it was just the wind pushing it because it's not really spinning now, but and this thing is much faster without the cage. I think it limits the pitch a little bit with that bar on it. The bar that it hangs the cage from to a flip. And I'm going to try to I'm going to get it up a little bit like this. Back here, I'll try to do a side flip and see if it actually... It looks really cool when it side flips, but doesn't really have a lot of control. Whoop, just trim the grass there. You saw that. Trying to right it now. There we go. Totally took some of those dandelions out. Let's fly it around. Kind of like it. Kind of like it with the cage. Like I said, it's much funner without the cage. As far as flying fast, goes real fast without the cage. Really love this quad. Try some funnels with the cage. Not bad. The cage is kind of spinning there. Second. Try one of those side flips one more time. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys.